There comes a moment in every life when the noise of the world grows deafening. A moment when the doubts, the failures, the rejections, all begin to whisper the same poisonous lie. Maybe this is all there is. But that is not the truth. That is the voice of a mind that has forgotten its own power. Because the truth, the eternal, unshakable truth, is this. Your mind is the master key. Every gate you wish to open, wealth, freedom, peace, greatness, all of it begins in one place, the silent workshop of your thoughts. Every empire ever built, every invention that reshaped the world, every masterpiece that stood the test of centuries, began in one invisible spark, a single thought in the mind of someone who refused to accept limitation. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times to give the world light, but his mind never failed him. Henry Ford was told a car for the common man was impossible, but his mind refused to yield. Walt Disney went bankrupt, ridiculed, rejected, but his imagination never surrendered. Each of them, before they changed the world, first changed their mind. And so must you, because until you master the mind, life remains locked. You can have talent, resources, connections, but without the right mental key, the door to greatness will never open. Your mind holds that key. It always has. But here's the tragedy, most people never use it. They carry the master key in their pocket their entire lives, yet live like prisoners. They let fear run their thinking. They let doubt dictate their decisions. They let the opinions of others become their compass. And slowly, without realizing it, they hand over the power of their own mind. The world becomes their master. Circumstances become their excuses, and the infinite potential within them remains untouched, rusting behind the locked doors of disbelief. But you are here to remember. You are here to take back the key. Because the moment you understand that your mind shapes reality, not the other way around, your life begins to bend in ways you never imagined possible. This is the divine law of all creation. What you hold in your mind, with faith and persistence, must take shape in your world. It is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual physics. Every thought you repeat, every image you visualize, every emotion you nurture, is a command sent into the unseen, summoning its equal from the field of reality. What you hold within, you attract without. What you believe, you become. But belief, true belief, is not a shallow chant of, "I can do this." It is a deep, burning conviction that refuses to bow to the visible. It is the faith that sees the invisible and builds upon it as though it were already real. That's what Andrew Carnegie understood when he transformed steel into an empire. That's what Napoleon Hill discovered after studying the minds of the world's most successful men, that success is never first material. It is mental, emotional, spiritual. It is born in thought long before it manifests in form. If you can control the direction of your thoughts, you control the direction of your life. If you can discipline the mind, you can bend reality itself. Because every action you take, every word you speak, every habit you form, is a reflection of your dominant thoughts. And your dominant thoughts are nothing more than the seeds you've planted and watered over time. So ask yourself, what have you been planting? What kind of garden grows inside your mind? Is it filled with weeds of doubt, fear, and hesitation? Or is it nourished by the seeds of faith, courage, and vision? You can't grow roses in soil poisoned by resentment. You can't expect abundance while meditating on lack. The mind does not discriminate, it only delivers what you consistently command through your focus. That is why the first rule of mastery is this: guard your mind. Protect it as you would a vault filled with priceless treasure, because that's exactly what it is. Every negative thought you entertain is a thief. Every limiting belief you accept is a lock on the door of your potential. Discipline begins in the mind. Success begins in the mind. Freedom begins in the mind. But the mind, left undisciplined, is chaos, a storm that drowns purpose. You must train it, shape it, direct it with clarity. You must teach it what to focus on, what to ignore, what to believe. This is where 99% of people fail, not because they lack opportunity, but because they lack mental direction. They wake up reactive, not intentional. They scroll instead of plan. They chase distractions instead of vision. And then they wonder why the world feels like a maze, when in truth, the maze is their mind. Your mind must serve you, not enslave you. You are the master, not the victim. Every morning, when your eyes open, you are handed a brush, the mind. And the canvas, your day, awaits your command. What will you paint today? Fear or faith? Complaints or creation? Because every single thought adds color to your life. Every choice is a stroke of destiny. And if you paint with intention long enough, the masterpiece will reveal itself. That's why the greats build habits of mental alignment. They do not wait for motivation, they create momentum. They do not react to circumstances, they generate direction. They meditate, visualize, affirm, reflect, not as rituals, but as training sessions for the mind. They understand the truth. The external world is only a mirror of the internal one. If you wish to change your circumstances, change what you're projecting. And it begins with clarity. Clarity of purpose, clarity of desire, clarity of identity, because the mind cannot create what it does not clearly see. If your vision is foggy, your results will be blurry. You must define your aim. You must see it in your imagination with such intensity that it feels more real than the world around you. When Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich, he wasn't talking about money, he was talking about mental wealth. Money is a symbol. The true riches are vision, faith, persistence, and clarity of purpose. For once you possess those, the material follows as a shadow follows form. So take a moment and ask yourself, what do I truly want? Not what others expect of me, not what seems reasonable, but what sets my soul on fire. Because that desire, the burning, relentless desire, is the starting point of all achievement. Every legend you know began with a dream that seemed impossible, but they dared to hold that dream in the furnace of faith long enough for it to take form. Desire without faith burns out, faith without action fades away, but desire fused with faith and action, that is creation itself. And to live without desire is to die before death. The world is full of people who have silenced their own longing. They call it being realistic, but in truth, it's surrender. They've locked away their own potential in the prison of practicality. You were not born to be realistic. You were born to be realized. You were born to take what was once invisible and make it visible. To take what was once impossible and make it inevitable. That is what the mind does when it is fully awakened. But awakening the mind requires courage, because the first battle is always within. The battle between faith and fear. Between vision and doubt. Between who you were and who you are becoming. The battlefield is silent, but the war is real. Every morning, the old self whispers, stay where you are, it's safe here. And the new self replies, but I was not born to stay safe. I was born to grow. Growth is never comfortable. Discipline is never easy, but neither is regret. And between the two, one builds empires, the other builds excuses. The mind, when trained, is your most loyal servant. But when neglected, it becomes your greatest enemy. It will justify failure. It will rationalize mediocrity. It will build entire philosophies around why you shouldn't try. That's why you must take command. Not once, not occasionally, but every day. You must rise before the world rises, and claim your mind before the noise claims it for you. When you wake, don't reach for your phone, reach for your thoughts. Ask yourself, who do I choose to be today? Because the day does not shape you, you shape the day. The morning is your forge, your mind, the fire. And the more you practice this, the more your life begins to align. Because intention is not magic, it's focus. And focus is power. Edison had it, Lincoln had it, every creator who ever left a mark on history had it, the ability to hold one vision in their mind long enough for the world to yield. They did not dabble in desire, they devoted themselves to it. And devotion is the highest form of focus. That is how the mind becomes a master key, when it stops wandering and starts creating. When it stops reacting and starts commanding. The mind creates through two forces, belief and direction. Belief gives it energy, direction gives it form. When both unite, destiny obeys. And this is where most people get stuck. They believe in the dream for a moment, then let doubt erode it. They visualize success for a week, then fall back into old stories. They say they want change, but they still think like the person they were. And the universe responds to who you are, not what you wish. To change your life, you must first change your identity. You must begin to think, feel, and act as the person you intend to become, long before the evidence shows up. This is not pretending, it is pre-creating. It is aligning your inner world with your future reality until the outer world has no choice but to mirror it. That is the science of success. That is the hidden law that few truly understand. Your results are not caused by luck. They are reflections of the images you've impressed upon your subconscious mind, images born of belief, shaped by repetition, and powered by emotion. You cannot think of yourself as poor and attract prosperity. You cannot think of yourself as weak and attract power. You cannot think of yourself as unworthy and experience abundance. The world gives you back what you secretly believe you deserve. So if you want to change the reflection, you must change the image. And that image is built daily, through self-talk, visualization, gratitude, and relentless repetition. Gratitude, especially, is the highest frequency of thought. It transforms fear into faith and lack into abundance. When you give thanks in advance, not for what you have, but for what you know is coming, you align your vibration with creation itself. That is the secret behind every spiritual and scientific breakthrough. Gratitude says, I already have it, I am it, it is done. And the universe echoes, so be it. When you live in gratitude, fear cannot survive. When you live in faith, doubt cannot breathe. And when you live in purpose, failure loses its sting. Because purpose makes pain meaningful. It gives suffering a reason to exist. Every setback becomes a sculptor shaping your strength. Every trial becomes training for the next level. The mind that understands this cannot be broken. It may bend, but it will never break. That is resilience, the ability to hold your faith when the world looks dark. The ability to keep your inner vision alive, when your outer world collapses. Because that's when the test arrives, when everything seems against you. When the money is gone, when the doors close, when the people you trusted turn away, that's when the weak mind collapses, and the strong mind awakens. For it is in the darkness that light is born, and it is in adversity that the master mind reveals its true power.